Today we are diving into some content of old, resurfacing my research and bringing another level of the search to topics many have thought I've forgotten about. Well, Chico doesn't forget. We are like elephants who always remember. Because it's time for Chico Crypto. So who is it I haven't talked about in a good long while, in over 2 months, when I was talking about this certain person on repeat throughout the end of 2020 and through the beginning of 2021. Well, I'm talking about that musky boy, the Dogefather himself, Elon Musk. And the only reason I want to bring him up today is he has received his own Doge, a Shiba Inu puppy named Floki, which he said he was going to do all the way back in March. So that's it for the content today, boys and girls. Cheers. I'm just kidding. There is so much more to talk about. Like so much more. So let's dive down the rabbit hole, or should I say dog hole, and see what we can dig up. So here we go. Back in the middle of August, just a month ago, the Dogecoin Foundation announced some really interesting news. They had added a group of people to the advisory board. 2 Dogecoin OGs, including Dogecoin core developer Max Keller and one of the Dogecoin founders, Satoshi Nakamoto, aka Billy Marcus. But also 2 very important characters. Vitalik Buterin, founder of Ethereum, and Jared Birchall, who represents Elon Musk. He's his close associate, he's the head of Musk's family office, and he's an executive at many of his companies, including Neuralink. So right away you have to assume that something special is going on with Doge and Ethereum, and the ties between Elon Musk and Vitalik go way back than just last month. April of 2019, Elon tweeted just one word, Ethereum, and Vitalik replied that he should come to the Ethereum DevCon in October, of which Musk replied back, what should be developed on Ethereum? So what should be developed on Ethereum? Well, in June of this year, Vitalik was on the Lex Fridman podcast and spoke about Doge, Elon, and Ethereum. Let's listen in to this first clip.
You know that there's that meme of Doge like taking over, like that storm?
Yes, I've seen it.
Is there a way to ride that that storm, that wave of the Doge that's taking over?
I think if we could have a secure Doge to Ethereum bridge, then that would be amazing. And then when Ethereum gets its scalability, any scalability thing that works for Ethereum assets, you would be able to also trade wrapped Doge with extremely low transaction fees and very high speed as well.
A Dogecoin and Ethereum bridge. That is what I think is getting worked on, because the proof is in the advisory board pudding. Vitalik wouldn't join the Doge Foundation unless there were plans for this to come to fruition. So the question is, who is building this? Who's constructing and laying the bricks for the bridge? Well, I've found 2 teams that I know of so far working on this very important bridge, Truebit and Dogelabs. So first, let's begin with Truebit, as they have been working on their bridge called Dogethereum for some time, dating all the way back to 2018 with this initial white paper release in July, titled Using Superblocks to Bridge Dogecoin to Ethereum, and this blog post they posted just after that, October, titled Dogethereum Remystified. So, 2018, it was initially being worked on and developed. Is Truebit still working on this today? Well, going to the GitHub for Dogethereum from Truebit, yes, it's being actively developed. And going to the insights, the #1 contributor is Oscar Gunsberg. And guess what? Vitalik Buterin was on a Dogecoin podcast with Dogecoin developer Ross Nickel, Dogefluencer Soma Green, and Oscar Gunsberg, and they talked about the Dogecoin Ethereum bridge. Let's play a clip where Oscar talks about just that.
My next question is for Oscar. Oscar is the lead developer for the Dogethereum bridge. Tell us a little bit about the Dogecoin Ethereum bridge and what it does, Oscar.
Our bridge is SPV, Simplified Payment Verification, for the Dogecoin to Ethereum side, and a collateralized solution for the Ethereum to Doge side, while they have a collateralized solution for both sides. There's also a technical aspect that doesn't affect how it works, but it's important for us. We wanted to make a solution that allows the verification of script hashes on EVM. I think it was Vitalik who wrote the first code to do that, like in Serpent, like 5 years ago. And yeah, and then Christian wrote an the thing that code used to consume like 300 million units of gas. And then Christian, the lead developer of Solidity, implemented an interactive solution for that, and the Truebit team improved that, and eventually we ended up using that as part of our solution. So for us, it's important to solve that problem as part of the bridge.
The bridge being built is using Truebit, which is obvious from the Truebit Dogethereum GitHub, but this just confirms it 100%. Although remember, I said there is more than one team working on the bridge, and a team tied to a major Dogecoin project, who is working with Elon's SpaceX and the Doge 1 satellite launch, sending Dogecoin to the freaking moon. And Oscar actually reiterated that in the podcast.
The end goal is the same, moving Doge to Ethereum back and forth. I should also mention that there are other bridges working in the same space.
So yesterday it was announced that Dogelabs had signed an advisory agreement with the Doge 1 Moon project. And the PR release says, AppSwarm Corp, a software development company and aggregator of mobile applications, announced an advisory agreement with Geometric Energy Corporation for their SpaceX Doge 1 mission to the moon. Dogelabs will assist in providing corporate and strategic partnerships to the Doge 1 project and establish a working relationship to explore future space-related projects under Tulsa Labs. Doge 1 is the first ever commercial lunar payload in history paid entirely with Dogecoin, launching aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. The mission will deploy a small CubeSat into lunar orbit and will be equipped with a camera to record video of the satellite's pixel display screen that is enabled to play digital content, including NFT art. NFTs on satellites? Is this going to be on the Dogecoin chain? Well, developer Ross Nickel tweeted that this isn't possible on Doge without major changes just last week. So the functionality for this has to come from a Dogecoin Ethereum bridge. And guess who is working on a bridge? Dogelabs, who just signed that advisory agreement with Doge 1. Interesting to say the least for the space tokens, Iteration Syndicate, Reyna, and all those tied to the Doge 1 launch. Although there is something just as interesting that Vitalik talked about on the Lex Fridman podcast, and this could tie into Gamestop. But before we get into that, it's time for a sponsored segment of this video, brought to you by the team over at the vEMPIRE DDAO. And like always, the details of our agreement can be found in the description. vEMPIRE DDAO is a decentralized gaming protocol and the first platform to offer DeFi-esque staking for Metaverse tokens, combining DeFi gaming and Metaverse strategies all into one place. vEMPIRE is invading the Metaverse and declaring war against centralization to save it from a future financial crisis. Their goal is to highlight projects at risk of becoming centralized or those who have already begun getting monopolized by big business. There's a big problem on the rise. Companies like the Metaverse Group are sweeping up significant estates and land across nearly every major Metaverse platform and developing REITs and other centralized products. This is causing the average user to get priced out of owning land within the Metaverse. Those who need to use the land will be left having to lease space from corporate giants like the Metaverse Group. And vEMPIRE is leading the fight against this through the formation of a new kind of democratic DAO, one that provides equal votes to its users and doesn't favor whales simply because they hold a bunch of tokens. Loyalty and participation are the ways to gain more value on their platform, creating a level playing field for the average user. In order to invade the Metaverse, vEMPIRE is launching Metaverse token staking pools that offer a unique triple yield aggregation for their stakers. These pools will allow the staking of Sand, Mana, AXS, Star L, and ETH, and they launch soon, September 23rd. The protocol will reward the stakers with its native token, vEMP, alongside rewards in the respective tokens being staked. The DDAO will then use the staked tokens to purchase and reinvest in land and other metaverse assets. And as profits are gained on these assets, 50% goes to the stakers as rewards, and 50% is dedicated to purchasing more land to further the vEMPIRE across the metaverse. vEMPIRE also created an NFT trading card game where users can play to earn by battling each other. You can even win 1% of the total vEMP token supply. And in addition, they're also introducing collectible NFTs with real utility. This is truly a special project with a lot going on, and even more in development. In fact, they've even captured the attention of Chico, an Axie's co-founder, who has already tweeted about the vEMPIRE DDAO on a few occasions. So, my friends, vEMPIRE is a community-first project focused on protecting the metaverse, and they have found a way to make it profitable and fun. They want to make sure gamers and users of the metaverse hear their message and understand what's going on around them. And the best time to get involved and ask questions is while they are still young and accessible. So check out their website, get your questions ready, and jump into their Telegram channel. You'll even find the co-founder interacting and answering questions for the community. So links for everything vEMPIRE are below. Now back to that hint Vitalik might have gave on the Lex Fridman podcast.
I personally think that, if Doge wants to somehow bridge to Ethereum and then people can trade Doge thousands of times a second inside of Loopring, then, that would be amazing.
Loopring is the hint, but he was speaking about Dogecoin and a bridge, Tyler. This doesn't have anything to do with Gamestop. Well, not the discussion with Vitalik, but Loopring just might have connections to the stop. There was a great post 2 weeks ago on the Superstonk subreddit titled "The Link Between GameStop and Loopring," and they provide proof of connection. I'm going to go through it, but if you want to read for yourself that post, the link is down below. So to begin, there is an ENS, Ethereum name service domain, titled gamestop.loopring.eth. And as we can see, the controller of this is the Ethereum address ending in B3D2. Diving into the address on Etherscan, only one transaction was sent to it. And diving into that transaction, it came from an address that ends in 0D10. Now going to that address on OpenSea, we can scroll down and see this address owns Finestone.eth. What does that mean? Well, obviously this address is Matthew Finestone's, which from his LinkedIn, we can see he is a former Loopring exec, who is now the head of blockchain at GameStop. So, what is Matt doing creating this domain? Is something brewing between Loopring and GameStop? Well, just a while ago, Loopring added some new functionality, as we can see, supporting NFT minting, trading, and transfers directly on L2, and adding NFT-related API interfaces. Now Daniel Wang, founder of Loopring, was just at EdCon speaking on this. Let's hear what he had to say about an NFT marketplace.
Some people ask me a question whether Loopring will launch our own marketplace. The answer is no. We don't have a plan to launch our own NFT marketplace, but we are working with a premium partner to make sure they can launch their marketplace successfully and very soon, probably in Q4, and with a lot of other stuff.
A premium partner, a Q4 launch. Is that GameStop's coming NFT marketplace? Well, only time will tell, and I'll keep you updated. Cheers, I'll see you next time.